Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for coming back. I do want to put this out there that it's not always going to be like this in this settings. There are going to be times where I will be going out and recording out. Today I was supposed to go out, but I ended up not going. So I am just going to go into the routine and then have a short story time as to why I ended up not going where I was supposed to go today. So this is my face, as you can see clearly, freshly washed, and it's not as dry as it was last week. There's no significant difference as at now, but I do think it's because I just literally started using skincare. So what I do is in the evening when I get home and I take a shower, I thoroughly wash my face to get every thing off my face. But when I'm done, I do not use any lotion, no skin products, nothing, because naturally I do have like an oily face. So in the morning, by the time I wake up, my skin will have rejuvenated itself, and then I wash my face, no soap or anything, and then I use the products after I'm done. That's what I do. But after doing some research, I realized that I could be using a toner because you're out in the sun all day. Well, not in the sun, but you're out almost half of the day, so you need to like tone your face, not bleaching, tone it. And then I'm also going to get cleanser to like really get the dust and the dirt off my face. So next week, that is what I'll be doing. But for today, it's officially exactly a week since the last time I recorded the last video. So obviously now I do not need instructions on how to use them. So I had mentioned last time that I was recording that I'm in a new city. So obviously anyone who goes to a new city is trying to put yourself out there, trying to make friends, trying to date and all that stuff. Story time. This is where this is the part where I'm going into why I am in the house and not out like it was planned. So I met someone, right? And then we're having a conversation. We've been talking for a very long time. Well, not a very long time, we've just been talking for like 2 weeks. And said person was like, oh, I would like to take you on a date. So I was like, sure, you can. And he plans the date. He's like, oh, I would like to take you out on Monday, because previously he had asked me what dates I am off from work, right? And then I said Sundays and Mondays, and he was like, oh, that's perfect. We can do Mondays and do casual dating, and then on Saturdays, since my last day of work is on Saturday, we can have intimacy time. Now this is where I actually struggled with throughout, and basically one of the key reasons why I am in my house today. He was like, oh, we can have intimacy times on Saturday. So in my head I'm like, what is intimacy time? Like, I have never heard of anyone use that term before. So he was like, oh, growing our bond, trying to get to know each other better. And I was like, that is what a date is for. So if we are going to be meeting on Mondays for dates, why do we need intimacy time on Saturdays? And he was like, oh, you're being pessimistic, and this is me trying to say I really like you, and that is why I would like for us to build our bond, because physical touch is very important to me. So I'm like, okay, weird, but what do you have in mind? And then he said, well, since he lives with his parents, we would have to get a place. So that's why I was like, back up. Why do we need to get a place for intimacy time? Because in my head, if you're trying to build physical touch or physical whatever, want to get somewhere like cozy, like by the beach or something like that. Even in the cinema, it can be quite cozy in there. And then he was like, no, you know, it's better to get a place and blah blah blah. So I was like, and already before that I was already contemplating on a lot of things, because he would use the word babe a lot. I'm not saying it's a bad word, but if you know me, you know very well that I do not respond well to someone going like, oh babe, or honey, or dear, especially someone that I am yet to know. So anyways, so that was a first red flag. To me it was a red flag because it felt like a term that he uses for every girl. So I was like, every time he said it I was like, ew. And the second thing is he called me out of nowhere. Like, we didn't plan to talk on the phone, but then all of a sudden he called me on the phone, and I'm like, I mean, that's not a bad thing. I guess people like to talk to people, but it was the conversation that we had on the phone that made me go, there is something not right with this boy. He said, oh, I just wanted to hear your voice because when you're typing you sound very strict, but on the phone it seems you're more relaxed. And I was like, can he explain strict? And he was like, oh, you know, because of the way I was responding to the intimacy time. I don't know why I always do this when I say intimacy time. The intimacy time comment. So I was like, oh yeah, I've had people tell me that I text the way I talk, so maybe that's one of the reasons why. And then he was like, okay, then he is glad to know that I am not as strict as he had assumed. And I was like, okay, fine. Fast forward, blah 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 blah. I hang up, he hangs up, whoever hangs up, and then I go to bed. Yesterday I texted him to confirm where are we going and what time are we going, and then he was like, oh, we can meet today, and then have like a quick dinner, a quick lunch, or something they call Chinese tea time, which sounded really cute and interesting. But and then he added that after the Chinese tea time we can, you know, go home, and then on Saturday we can have our intimacy time. So I'm like, what is wrong with this person? Like, why is this intimacy time? And in fact, it got to a point I thought maybe he was trying to get me to a place alone so that they could murder me or something. And he kept using things like, oh, I'm a baddie, I'm a like, it sounded like he just had a black girl's fetish. So I was like, I was already suspicious. I don't know, just things were going on in my mind that made me go, I don't think this guy is okay. So fast forward, yesterday, after I had confirmed everything, I don't know what came over me, and then I just sent him a message and I said, you know, you sound great, you sound sweet and everything, but the whole intimacy thing, that's not sit well with me. So if it's possible, can you hold on to that for now and let's just get to know each other, and the intimacy or whatever thing can come later. If you cannot accept this, then I don't think we are compatible in any ways. And then he sends me a message back and he's like, oh yeah, I have been thinking about it for some time and you are too rigid for me. I like someone who is more carefree and open-minded, and you just seem too rigid, so I do agree that we are not compatible. Fair enough. I mean, someone open-minded and someone carefree, that is definitely not me. I am not open-minded to intimacy times on Saturday. So I was going to reply him by saying rigid is a word that men use when they cannot get their way with someone. But then I just, you know, ignored it and just went with the casual great, we are both on the same page, do have a good day. And then he sends me a message back to say, oh sure, I will definitely have a good day. I don't know why I read it in that tone, but that's what it sounded like it was. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I was not able to film a get ready with me video today, because it was cancelled due to lack of intimacy. Sorry, due to the fact that I was not willing to have an intimate time with somebody, or being rigid as he calls it. So on days where I'm not going to be filming Get Ready With Me or going out on the weekend, I am going to do story time. And I think maybe next week I might tell you of a time where I was almost pimped out by a friend. So this is the end of the routine. I used the activating serum again, and then I used balancing comfort water, and then I used the essential comfort, and then I used the firming cream. So thank you for watching, and as I mentioned earlier, if you are interested in any of these products, you can let me know. Next week I will introduce 2 new products in addition to this. I do understand that skincare can be expensive, but there are things that you can do that are not as expensive, like getting masks. So I may be getting some masks to use, and then if you're interested in those also, you can, so we can have a conversation about it and how best we can go about it. So anyways, thank you for joining me, and please subscribe, please tell friends, and please just bear with me as we explore together. Thank you for joining me today. Since I have nowhere to go, I'll let this soak in. I'm going to drink water, I'm going to eat, and I am going to cuddle in bed because I have work tomorrow. Thank you for joining.